uko kuno abo bano mamuona kere nai Anno pura meso, anno pura tebe, anno kaya marigi. Kama kwe doti kom, kwe doti kom upusa sai. Kama kwe anno kaya marigi.
Kama kwe uyo, anno tara mari, anno kaya mari, karai mamunzu. Paninya pano Zamnoda kunzwa Znotoro pano Madiko kumunzwa Mugovane.com.
Right, 5 June 2022, and today I've got yet another episode, and I want to say this is the most engaging story on our platforms. This is the most followed story of all the stories that we've done this year, including all the stories that I've done about the millionaires who died. So this is very, very important, and I want to do this justice. I don't want to be unfair to anybody, and I mean on both sides. I want everybody to feel well treated when we finish this. So what I want to handle today is the issue of Kuda Mahachi and his son, Diego. Diego is currently in hospital at Mpilo Hospital. And the assumption that we had made, and also it was my mistake, we took the initial reports that Kuda Mahachi had banned his son. And I actually feel very bad that I fell for that without checking. Now that we've done a lot of checking, I am convinced that Kuda Mahachi did not burn his son. And you see that I'm laughing because I cannot even imagine, after what I've seen, why I thought a father would burn his son. And what I'm going to show you here today is going to prove that Kuda Mahachi did not burn his son. And there is a bigger problem that we are dealing with here than a father burning his son. So firstly, let's start with the medical reports. According to my sources, there are 3 medical reports now on Diego at Mpilo Hospital. The first 2 reports were done by the hospital. One was done by a senior doctor, and then another one was done by a junior doctor. The senior doctor found that Diego was not harmed, he was not burned. That is the first report. Then there is a second report, which was done by a junior doctor. And this report says Diego was harmed or abused, or I think they said something about being poked with needles, but they did not see any burns on the boy. So those are the 2 reports. Now, given these 2 conflicting reports, one which says the boy was not harmed at all, he had a medical condition, and one which says that he was harmed, there's signs of him being poked with a sharp needle. The parent, who is Kuda, decided to get a third opinion. And if you were watching Ezra's Vanda last week, he was chasing a doctor and a lawyer. This is the doctor who was performing a third medical examination or an independent examination on the boy. So now there are 3 medical reports. You may be asking yourself, why do we have these medical reports? What is the reason? The reason is that the mother of the child has gone, so that is Marita, she has gone and made a police report. And there's going to be a court case this week regarding this very case in Bulawayo. I'm not sure about the exact date, and I would have wanted to be around in Bulawayo. And let's see if I'm going to be there, since I'm already traveling to Zim. So let's see if I'm going to be there this week to see and to look at the situation. Now, I want to show you a set of pictures. I want to share with you a set of pictures. And I want you to forgive me because my network is very, very bad ever since I came back from Zimbabwe. I don't know what remained behind happening here in South Africa. Maybe someone did something to my network here. I'm very sorry, but I don't seem to be getting all my documents here. So let us be talking while I'm looking for the stuff that I'm looking for, because it's very, very important for me to show you these pictures. Right, so let's start by, and let's let this load. I want to start by showing you this picture. This is the medical condition or breakout that is on Diego's head. This is not a burn. If you look clearly, you can see that this is a breakout. This is not a burn. And if you come down here, you will see the same breakout on his head. And this is from Facebook. I was taking these pictures from Facebook. They're not supplied by anybody. Then you come down here, you will see that this is Kuda Mahachi with his 2 children. I'm sorry for reflecting kids with faces here, so I'll be quick about it. And this was on 26 March. Right, this is on my Facebook on gambagwe.com if you want to go and look at this. You can go down and you will see that during this period, this is Diego, 26 March, 23 March, 7 April. He was okay. So initially, when Diego left Zimbabwe, he already had this breakout. And this breakout, this was already there. It's not something that happened on his arrival in South Africa. And then when Marita was asked what was happening with the boy, she said, this is normal, according to my sources. And then obviously there's this question of this picture. This picture has been circulating all over social media. The question was, why was there salt being applied on the leg of Diego? And according to people that I talked to, Diego was injured on the 4th of March. So I want you to look back at the dates. So this is the 4th of March. Diego was injured on the 4th of March. He was taken to hospital and was treated. And the breakout on the head is something that all happened before he came from Zimbabwe. So he already had a breakout. He got injured on the 4th. And you can see that if we go back to those pictures on the 26th and the 23rd, he was already healed. He was okay. The question then is, what happened to him? Why is he sick? And why is he in hospital? And now there is the combination of issues. So as I said, the first thing is he's got the breakout, something that he already had when he left Zimbabwe. That is continuing. I have questions, obviously, on why they sent him back through a Malaysia and not through a flight. That is something that will need answers. But I don't think Kuda abused his son or banned the son. And you can see that he is not injured here. I then want to go to what has been said and what is known. The sisters of Kuda Mahachi, according to people that I've spoken to, when the child arrived in Zimbabwe, they got a medical doctor. And you never hear this being spoken about because they obviously want to protect various people. A medical doctor went to the house and injected the child. I don't know what medicine they injected the child with. And this caused the child to develop an even more or bigger complication. So that is very, very important to understand. There was some injection of this child by the sisters who stay with the child, who invited a medical doctor to come and treat that child. And then the doctor injected the child who got into a worse condition. So I think basically I've covered everything I wanted to cover here. Kuda Mahachi did not ban this child. And let's go now to the old pictures. I want to show you that there is no correlation here. if you look at this, there is no way this picture can be real. This picture is not a real picture of what happened. Even this picture of the leg, these are not real pictures. The real pictures that I've shown you, those are the pictures of the child. And unfortunately, there are many, many issues here at play, especially the issue of, obviously, the breakup. There's a big issue here. This breakup is not being handled properly, especially from Marita's side. I also want to correct a mistake that I made last week. Kuda and Marita, they had a daughter who was called Dineo. The daughter died or passed away. And then in between, Kuda and, Marita had an extramarital affair with a Malaysia. And she got a daughter called Delish. And then they obviously had the Diego. So they've got one child together, one who passed away, and one who is from extramarital affairs. If you're watching the South African press today, you will see that Marita denied that she had an extramarital affair. She denied that Delish is not Kuda's baby or child, which means she's disputing the DNA test that was done at NAST. And I think Kuda will have to take her again to go and do that DNA test to prove that Delish, is it his daughter or not? He has to do that because she's disputing the DNA test results. I've got a lot of voice notes and audios that I've managed to gather. And I'm convinced that this case is not straightforward. It's not a case of a father that is just burning his child. And what I would want to do is I want to avoid exposing a child. But from the audios that I've listened to, this child, the environment where he lives with his grandmothers and sisters and aunts is not suitable for a child. There is a lot happening there that needs Kuda to take the boy away and maybe move him to another location or to stay with the child. Because the things that he's speaking about, it shows a lot of a traumatized child who has gone through a lot. So if the child says something, like, I won't play it here because I would be exposing a child who's not knowledgeable about what he's saying. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 audios of the child speaking about Marita, about how she treats him, about how she treated Dineo and Delish. So all these things are here, but I'm not going to play them here. Obviously, there will be a right time. If we need to play them, we're going to play them. But what I want to say here is that this is not a straightforward case, and Kuda has probably been treated very, very badly by the public. It's a court of public opinion, and this is something that needs to be dealt with very, very carefully because it involves very young children. I want to answer a few comments, then we'll wrap this up. I want to keep this under 15 minutes. And then I want to say, Kingman says 7 to 8 people interviewed the child. And the child said he did. So who did? Why did he send the child back illegally? As I said to you, I do not have an answer of why the child was sent back through the Malaysia. All I can tell you is that the pictures you are seeing of the child on the 23rd, 26th, and on the 4th of April, he's okay, he's fine. He's not injured. These are from Facebook. The injury happened in the beginning in March. So he could have been bent earlier or he could have been injured earlier, but that's not the reason why he is in the current state he is. He's got a breakout, a medical breakout, which he had on his head. And Marita knows about this one. Then let's look at Okay, Richard Gwenzi, Dr. Magaisa is no more. Yes, I'm very sorry. I didn't mention this in the beginning. And my condolences to the family of Dr. Alex Magaisa. I did not know him myself personally. In the beginning, we tried to work out something where he was going to have we were going to take his column and then we would make it a video. We had actually approached him, I think 2 years ago, but that did not go anywhere. So that was the last time we ever talked. In fact, I talked through third parties. So I'm very sorry about that, about the passing. He died of cardiac arrest, and I've seen on Twitter and also reports on Gambako Media that he was sick since January. He's been going through some sort of treatment, what do you call medical treatment. He actually tweeted the thing himself. So you can check it on gambako.com. You see it there. Right. So why did Kuda Mahachi lie against his own grandson, Mahachi? It was a very, very good question. The Kuda Mahachi that you are seeing, according to my sources, is not the mother of Kuda. You all know that Kuda's mother passed away. And that is not his mother. That is a distant relative. And as I said to you, the aunts are involved in injecting this child. And I think everyone needs to understand what I'm talking about here. These are distant relatives. And as I said, this child has been living under conditions that are not suitable. So, including those people that are coming out, they're also part of the problem. And as I said, if I was in Bulawayo now, I was going to look for her. I want Ezra to make a check and find out who exactly is this woman to Kuda. How are they related? So we don't want people to just say, this is your mother, and then they don't even check. My understanding is that Kuda's mother passed away, and that is not his mother. And I'm trying to find the story here on Gambakwe, which we wrote some time ago. So maybe I should have, yes, that I can see it on Nehanda. It's there on 12 December. Kuda's mom passes away. That is on Nehanda. You can go check it out. So that's not his mother. And also, we need to be careful that we don't just say things without checking. These things need to be checked. And anyway, the good thing is that this is going to be in court next week. So we'll know exactly what's happening. Then Gimwe is saying, I'm trying to follow the story. The medics revealed that the child was not burnt at all. Yes, that's true. Both doctors, none of the doctors say the child was burnt. So I talked about the poking of and the holes and whatever. If you look at the audio, the child here is speaking about being injected. And it's not his first time in hospital. He has been in hospital before. And he claims that he was in hospital because he was hungry and he fainted. I've got this thing on the audio. So if it becomes necessary at some future point, we're going to play it. And then Sanelindo, why did they call her Gogo if she's a distant relative? I think you can check that with Marita. You can check that with Ezra. You can go and ask her if she's the grandmother or not. Right, so this is it. Basically, currently, there are 3 medical reports. And all those 3 medical reports, 2 of them from Pilo are conflicting. So they had to go and get a 3rd independent medical report. This child was not being abused in South Africa. They were taking good care of this child. I've looked at the pictures. I've looked at the video. They were taking good care of this child. Unfortunately, something happened and they had to send him back through the Malaysia. I think that was the mistake. They should have sent him through the flight. I suspect that it's possible that his days could have expired or something. I'm sure if we ask Kuda, if we were to find him, we would be able to know. He's in Bulawayo. That's why I say I wish I was in Bulawayo this week. I would have asked a lot of questions. I would have gone to all the people that are involved here. And I've seen people trying to make this something that it is not. This is a simple case of a family that is going through a breakup. And you know that when a family is going through a breakup, a lot happens. There's fight over houses, there's fight over money, there's fight over everything. People fight and they fight dirty. And this is one of the things that is happening here. Marita has got someone here in the South African press. I think they're working at Sunday World, who is feeding them stories every week. They're obviously trying to make sure that Kuda's image here is totally destroyed. He will never be able to play here in South Africa again. That is basically the whole plan. And I think it's a bit unfair. Kuda needs to solve this issue. It needs to go to court, and then he needs to be cleared there and to be able to go back to work. I think basically that is the situation. So if I'm able to travel, I'll be able to give you coverage of this in more detail when I'm on the ground in Bulawayo. I feel that Ezra has taken sides in the beginning, and now he's failing to see the difference between what he believes and reality. It's very important to step back in a case like this and say, does this all make sense? Because if it doesn't make sense, of course mistakes were made, especially the sending of the child through the Malaysia was a very big mistake. But I don't think they banned the child. What kind of callous human beings would do that? To ban a child and do that. And I think Marita should be exposed to more interrogation. She needs to explain what this child is saying in this audios, which I'll also give to Ezra if he manages to get in touch with me. He's saying a lot. The child is traumatized, and he needs a different environment from where he is currently. Right, that is it for today. I do not have any more to say about this issue for today. I'm going to wait until the court hearing next week. Then I'm going to obviously come back with more details, more information, and update. And I hope that this all ends well. I don't want this to end badly for anybody, because these guys have gone through a lot as a family. I think they just need to sort out a lot, and it's taking a toll financially, physically, and nationally. Everyone is gripped by this story. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with Mr. Tinashe Jonasi as we look at other very interesting critical stories for our country, politically. And then obviously on Tuesday, I'm going to be back with Dr. Fedias Mteneri. We want to look at the appointment of the new vice president. It's been very topical this week. All the leading newspapers have been leading with that story that there's going to be an appointment of a second vice president to replace, is it Dr. or Comrade Kuda Mahachi, vice president, former vice president, is going to be replaced. And so it's very important for us to discuss the various alternatives that are there. And then obviously during the week, I'm going to try to come more often this week. There's a lot that we need to deal with. I'll try to produce more shows as we go towards the end of June. Thank you very much and good night.
Kuno abo bano mama wanna get it nice. I know pura meso, I know pura tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kwetu tikom, kama kwetu tikom upusa saire. Kama kwe ano kaya marigi.
Kama kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com gambakwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanosiya mari gambakwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei vanhu muterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere gambakwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence
entertainment current affairs and news gambakwe.com usasarire gambakwe anogaya mari